Hey everyone, it's Christine and welcome back to our homesteading. It's been a long time since I've made a video, but a lot has gone on. Some things not good and other things good. My mother-in-law passed away not too long ago, and it was kind of quick and expected, but not expected so soon. So it's taken a little bit of time for us to kind of get our bearings from that loss, but we've been staying busy, and we had kidding season, we had a lot of baby goats, and now we are headed into summer, and I'm starting to put the garden in, and that is what I wanted to show you today. We have really been working on expanding. This is our second year growing in upstate New York. We are originally from Florida, and it's been a learning curve. Totally different growing zone, actual seasons up here, and some things that worked down there don't work up here, and some things are easier up here. So I thought I would show you. This is what we are working on, is expanding the garden forward and backwards. And I have these two pots here just flanking the entrance. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep these pots here or if just going to plant some things just kind of to designate it. But I thought I would show you. We are curving the beds and then using cinder block. We did originally have some wood down, but we get very, very wet in early spring, and pretty much the garden is underwater, so wood is not a good idea. Plus, we kind of battle slugs and snails a little bit, and the wood just kind of beckons them in. So we are going with cinder blocks. We added a hose reel here, which has been a huge help. Eventually I would like water run here, but right now this works fine. We put in a crabapple here, and you can see I've been working on installing the garden. So let me show you around and what I have planted so far. In the cinder blocks here, I've got some strawberries, which I literally just planted these yesterday. Some of them are not looking too hot, but they'll bounce back. It's been incredibly hot and dry here. We went from very wet in the early spring to no rain. We have a slight chance of rain tomorrow, and I think next week we have some days where it can be rain on the forecast, but for the most part we have been incredibly dry, and especially the past couple of days we've been very, very hot for this early. So things have struggled a little bit, but that's okay. We're going to be cooling down again to more seasonable temps, 70s in the day and then like 50s at night. So I have started to plant some cucumbers along the back here to climb up this trellis. This one I had planted a little bit early just to see, and then we ended up getting a late frost. So I think that one is going to be a little stunted, although it does look like it put on a little new growth. But I just went ahead and put some seeds in today to get that going, because the other ones that were up, they got knocked out from the frost. I've got some sweet alyssum here, and in here I scattered some lemon and lime basil seeds So pretty much where you see the pine shavings over is planted. Where you just see barn clean out is not planted yet. So I'm kind of doing things in stages. I find that that helps keep me a little bit more organized. We've got some arugula here, which is starting to bolt. I tried it yesterday. It's a little bitter. I'm hoping that if we get cool again, it'll hang on for a little bit longer. Also have some lettuces, different kinds scattered in. First bed here, you can see these are the wood logs that used to be around all the beds, but we're gonna be changing that to cinder block, like I said. I went ahead and put in some more lettuce here because this bed in particular gets quite a bit of shade from a maple tree that's behind me. So I put lettuce in this corner here. There's also dill seeds scattered through here. It's the really tall dill. I forget what it's called, but it's supposed to get like 5 feet tall. But it's just been so hot. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm hoping that when it cools down, it'll germinate, but I'm not really sure. I haven't seen anything pop up yet. So hopefully when it cools down, we'll get some dill. But also in this bed, I've got pretty much all of my dahlias planted, except for a few that I have in my actual landscape up front. And where you see grass clippings, I stuck in some bush beans. I believe these ones are the Italian. They're like a reddish speckled bean. They almost look like the dragon tongue bush beans, but they're not the dragon tongue bush beans. They're something else. And they are starting to germinate because I can see them. Where did I see one? Oh, there. Can you see that? Right there. So they're coming up. I've just been coming out here every day and watering as best as I can to keep the soil moist because we've just been so dry. I mean, you can see that's a pathway. You can see the cracks. So really unusual for this time of year. Another thing I'm doing to try to help, the dry and the, just because I'm not able to plant everything right now, is I'm keeping areas tarped that I'm going to work on, and then I get to them so that way the weeds don't take over. So these tarps were on this bed, and then now they're moved into the walkway and stuff. So again, this is all barn clean out. I've got some oregano here that is planted under this crabapple. Got a little rhubarb. And then this is my second attempt of asparagus, which is doing much better than the initial asparagus I did last year. It's still not doing fantastic, but it's doing better. So asparagus, we're not gonna be able to harvest this for at least a couple of years, but at least it's getting started. My garlic is doing amazing. I got a few different varieties. This was just a variety I picked up at a farmer's market, and you can see not as good as these two varieties here, which I got from my friend Kirsten at Poplar Creek Farm. This is the German white in the front, and the giant Italian ivory is right here. So I'm really excited. I keep looking for scapes, which I do think we should be seeing some fairly soon. But yeah, these are like actually up to my chest at this point. They've done phenomenally well. And then these here, these are multiplying shallots. These are multiplying shallots that are interplanted with some celery. This is the pink celery, and this here is lovage, I believe. So yeah, it's like a really intense celery smell and flavor. So these actually, I don't know, these are bulbing, and I don't know if that's good or bad. I've never grown these before. Let's see. Let's take a little look. What's going on down here? But yeah, so I just planted one shallot bulb in the fall, just like garlic. And they multiply, and I think that is so cool. Really tempted to pull one just to see what it's gonna do. So I don't know if it's just sending up flower stalks because it's been so hot. I'm not really sure. But you can see here. I'll look more into that and see when I'm supposed to harvest them. But those are neat. I really like perennial type plants. They're just really easy and no fuss. So that makes me happy. Here, what is that? Clover? I think that's just white clover. Here we've got potatoes. These are potatoes that I saved in my root cellar last year that we didn't get around to eating, and they started to sprout, so we just went ahead and planted them. There's 3 rows here, 3 rows here, and I believe there's 3 or 4 rows that we just planted there. Next row has some kale. This is the Russian blue kale. And we have some different parsleys. And then this here is lemon mint, which I know everybody says not to plant mint in the, is that lemon mint? Yeah, that's lemon mint. Not to plant in your garden, but honestly, it's amazing. It smells so good. I like it better than lemon balm. And so does my daughter. We've got some cabbages. This is some more kale. So we've got a couple of varieties of parsley, and there's also some clover popping up. That's okay. So there's flat leaf parsley, and then there's this curly moss parsley. And then there's also some onions. The chickens have been over here scratching. Here we've got oregano, a little cluster, and that will fill in. This is like a carrot. It shouldn't be there. It's kind of funny. Some of these things didn't germinate last year, but then they come up in the spring. Here is broccolini that has now gone to flower, but you can see right here, that's what it looks like. But again, it's been so hot that it just flowered. So that's okay. I'm leaving it for the pollinators to enjoy. These are some scallions that I'm letting also go to flower. These were just store-bought scallions that I rooted and then stuck in the ground for kind of like a pest control thing to keep my brassicas and everything a little bit protected. Down here is chervil, a little row of chervil, which I should get onto harvesting because it definitely does not like the heat. Chervil is kind of like, they call it a French parsley, but it definitely has like an anise flavor, a little bit of that like licorice note to it. It's really good with like fish or eggs or in a salad dressing. I also have some head type broccoli that is starting to form. There's one here. And then I had 3 extras that I stuck over here by the garlic. These 2 panels, arches, we put up yesterday, and we're starting to go into our hot season, so our hot weather stuff. So here I've got cucumbers planted, and I'll probably do cucumbers on the other side of it as well. On this one here, this side I planted a purple pole bean, green bean, and over here I have I actually still have the pack. I used up this old pack of the Chinese red noodle beans. Now, I have never had luck with this. I tried growing it in Florida as well. Honestly, in Florida in particular, it was such an aphid magnet. So I'm curious to see, this is the first year I'm going to try to grow it here. Curious to see how it'll do in this climate. These here are contender bush beans that are just starting to pop up. Started planting my peppers. These are sweet peppers. I have, these are the Big Berthas. And then I have a Carmen F1 hybrid sweet red long. And then an island purple bell. They all kind of look the same right now. And this one here is Escamillo long yellow sweet. So these are sweets right here. I've got hot peppers in a different spot. This is my fennel. We really like fennel, and I try to grow that every year. And that's starting to bulb up, so that looks good. Like I said, right here is more potatoes, and we just planted the last of those, so try to do it in succession. First it was those 2, and then here I believe is 4 rows. So we'll see how many we get out of those. On the other side of this row, I've got some red chard. And there's also some garlic chives. I planted some carrots here, and they're starting to come up. But again, I don't know if we get really hot again, they're not going to be any good. So, but I literally just did a small little block right here. This is 3 little rosemaries. I've got a little block of cabbage here again. 2 of them did not make it. So I will be putting a little more in. My chickens scratched up. This was supposed to be echinacea over here, and you can see there's only 1, 2, possibly 3 if that pulls out from being burnt to a crisp. But they scratched up the other ones. And then those are the bush beans again. So then we get over here to where we're expanding into. So the idea this year is to claim this whole row. We did kind of plant it last year, but not as wide as what we're gonna make it this time. And then even though these are T-posts and cattle panels right now, I want something more permanent in this lane. So we're probably gonna build kind of like a tunnel pergola situation. So not sure what I'm going to be planting here yet, but I know right over here, I don't know if you can see, let's move closer. You can see there's chamomile that's coming back because there was chamomile there last year. So I'll probably put a little more along the fence line. And then right there, I have a teeny tiny little clematis that will hopefully climb and go on the fence here. So you can see we just came out and literally dumped barn clean out. So it needs to be leveled, and then I need to put topsoil and compost over on top of it. So this area most likely is going to have some determinate tomatoes in it and possibly some summer squash. Haven't decided yet. I said that I wasn't going to do a bush style squash this year, but I might change my mind, so I'm not sure. Here in this little area, we've got some spicy peppers, and they're not all like really spicy, but some of them are. We don't like a ton of heat. Here, I wanted to try the Chinese 5 spice peppers. So there's 4 of those in a block. I don't necessarily want to eat them, but maybe like to make like a hot sauce with, or dehydrate and make like kind of a red pepper flake type of seasoning. Not sure yet. I just think they're really pretty and ornamental, so I just kind of wanted to grow them and just see if we can tolerate them, because I heard they're pretty spicy. I've got a yellow jalapeno there, and then I've got some nadapinos. And you can see here how it's been so hot that the plants, even though they were hardened off, still getting some sunburn on them. So here is a row of habanadas, which those are the not spicy habaneros. And then we've got some poblanos, and these are some white marigolds. And then these I picked up because mine did not germinate, hot red cherry peppers, because we like chicken riggies. And these little overachievers are trying to set fruit already. I'm gonna just pop these off because I want them to get bigger. And then here where you see grass clippings, I have my most favorite summer squash, and that is the Dramonzino squash, which is absolutely delicious. If you've never tried that one, by far my favorite. So then we come over here, and this is where we are expanding. You can see here we have tarp down that is trying to kill off the grass and weeds. We've got cardboard down after we kill it off, and then we pile the barn clean out. So here I transplanted some strawberries, and then it got super hot, and I'm hoping that the roots will live and they will pull out of this. There's some lavender here. There is some milkweed. There's also fruit trees planted here. This is my sad attempt to try to save my eggplants because they were getting roasted. This is not a disease. I am trying out kale and clay on their leaves, because if you've ever grown eggplant, you know that flea beetles love them. So I have been dusting them, and this little bee is not happy with me. I'm sorry. I will leave your area. So yeah, so that is a kind of eggplant, and then there's another eggplant down here. Just trying to give it some relief. And then more barn clean out. This is most likely going to be peppers, because I still have a tray of peppers that needs to come out, more sweet peppers. So, and then this year, my indeterminate tomatoes are going to go here. Last year, if you saw my tour, we had our tomatoes very tightly together in rows, in these rows here, and they did great. We got tons and tons of tomatoes. I actually have 2 jars of tomato sauce left, so it carried us all through the winter, the fall, the spring. But yeah, we haven't had to buy any type of tomato sauce for that long. So I mean, I think I made close to like 50 jars of different like meat sauces and stuff. So but yeah, so we're not going to do that this year. This year, first of all, I didn't start as many tomatoes this year. I've got some determinate tomatoes and indeterminate tomatoes, but the indeterminates are going to go in a row here. We're going to put up paneling, cattle panel, and grow them up here in this row. And then here I planted a birch tree to hopefully grow up and give this area more dappled shade, because truly this is evening right now, but in the morning through the middle of the day, this is 100% full sun. And I am noticing that even living in the north, it's too much sun. It needs to be dappled. I find personally that everything does better in dappled sunlight. So take that for what it is. That's my experience. So that's a birch. And then this year we are attempting to grow our own fodder for the winter with our goats. I had my husband dump 3 piles of barn clean out, and you can see here we have our first ones popping up, and these are pumpkins. So 3 piles of pumpkins. That looks like it is the only one that is popping up so far. That's the only one I'm seeing right now. So pretty cool. So they will have plenty of room to go that way and that way and that way. So this whole area is designated towards pumpkins. My goats really enjoy having those in the fall. They're really good for them. And so this year we decided to grow our own. Is that one popping up? Oh yeah. Yeah, they're gonna be starting soon. Yeah, so that's exciting. Good stuff. And then over here, wasn't gonna show this part, but I just saw it out of my corner of my eye, my very first iris. How beautiful. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that. So I actually got these from somebody last year, and I just stuck them here because I didn't know what color they were, and she didn't know what color they were. So now that I know that they're purple and white, looks like all of them might be purple and white, because there's one here and one here. So once I know the colors, I can move them somewhere else, but they're beautiful. My redbud trees. Really sad story. I don't think they made it through the winter. I bought 7 of these on clearance last year at Lowe's. And like I said, I just think it got way too cold and not enough insulation, and they're toast. So I'm gonna have to repurchase some kind of trees. I'm trying to create a wind block here. But yeah, I'm not seeing any life from these guys. So, and those you can see, I actually snapped them trying to find life anywhere. But yeah, these two, they're toast too. So pull them up. Here we just have row of blueberries, which they're gonna need some mulch on them. There's also some blueberries over here. And then we are creating a raised bed for some raspberries. And that's about it. So you can kind of see what we're doing, what we're working on. We're also in the process of putting permanent fencing up for our goats. That's what these posts are. The holes are being dug. So yeah, just a lot of projects going on. It's that time of year, you know, as soon as the ground is workable, you're out here and you're doing all the things. So, but anyways, I hope you enjoyed this little tour. And now that I feel like I've got stuff to talk about and show you guys, I will definitely be posting more. So anyways, thanks for hanging out with me today, and I will talk to you soon. Take care, friends. Bye.